Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 17th of April 2025. These are the stories that we will be deciphering in the course of this very episode of Newsroom. Our first segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns the relationship between Hungary and Pakistan. 60 years of bilateral relations, 60 years of further strengthening of relations that has been happening over the decades. We'll be discussing different aspects of that in our first segment. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns unusual rain and hail patterns and climate change and how it is affecting a country such as Pakistan. We've seen how people have been killed in different parts of Punjab and of course different cars and buildings have been damaged to some extent or to a large extent depending on where they were at the time of this hailstorm. This hailstorm is also unusual for the time. Why is this happening at this time? Is climate change to be blamed or is it something else, and what needs to be done in order to protect ourselves, our property and our crops from further such hailstorms and excessive rains? This is going to be our second segment. Then we are going to talk about astronomers that say, ladies and gentlemen, that they have detected the most promising hints of potential life on a planet that is beyond our solar system. Although there are a lot of scientists that are expressing skepticism, but the fact is that this is a very important discovery. We have always wanted to endeavor and understand whether there was life beyond Earth, and there has been evidence that has been found as far as life beyond Earth is concerned, and this is just another one of those evidence. Let's see where this leads us to as far as different other life forms is concerned. This is the whole lineup for today. We will begin our first segment on the 60 years of bilateral relations between Pakistan and Hungary with an exclusive interview with the Foreign Minister and the Minister of Trade of Hungary, Excellency Péter Szijjártó. We'll take you right there to the interview. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PTV World Special. I am your host, Khalid, and we've been joined by a very special person, a dear friend as well, if I might call, because we last met 4 years ago. He's none other than the Foreign Minister and the Minister of Trade for Hungary, His Excellency Péter Szijjártó. I'll begin with saying one phrase in your language. I hope I pronounce it right. Pakistan bin Minister Ur.
That's fantastic. Absolutely perfect pronunciation.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to Pakistan and welcome to our show here as well. Thank you for giving us the time. I know you have had a very hectic schedule this time as well. Could you give us some highlights, some information, some background regarding this visit?
When we last met with your Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister in New York on the margins of the Security Council meeting, he was kind enough to invite me to Pakistan, and I was brave enough to accept that invitation. And the focus of this visit is to improve the bilateral economic and trade relationship. That's why I'm accompanied by a business delegation of 17 business leaders representing agriculture, ICT, smart city solutions, water management, food industry. My expectation is that today these companies will start doing business with their Pakistani counterparts. Last year we have broken the record of imports from Pakistan to Hungary. This year we would like to break the records of exports to Pakistan from Hungary in order to upgrade the trade relationship between the two countries. And we have a flagship mall, the Hungarian Oil Company, which is very, very successful here in Pakistan, which shows to the Hungarian companies that it makes sense to invest in Pakistan, and it makes sense to do business in Pakistan.
All right, wonderful. I'll say something that you said, and I'll quote you. You said boosting linkages with Pakistan in all areas, particularly the economy, trade, and enhanced people-to-people exchange will lead to fully realizing the economic potential between the countries. You talk of economy, so I wanted to kind of go in that direction. What strategies have been considered by your country and in consultation with Pakistan to further strengthen this over the years?
Look, we have been implementing a foreign policy strategy which is called Eastern Opening. We understand that the eastern part of the world is going to play an ever-growing role when it comes to global politics, global economy, and the global trade. And the Eastern companies, the companies in the East, are taking over the Western companies when it comes to the level of technology, when it comes to human resources, when it comes to financial background. So it's obvious for us that in order to be successful nowadays as a Central European country, we need to be economically neutral, meaning that we have to be open for cooperation in both geographic directions, east and west. And when it comes to Pakistan, you know, there's a very good basis for this cooperation laid down by MOL, our oil company, which has been present on your market for 25 years now. And during these 25 years, this company has invested more than $400 million into the energy industry of Pakistan, becoming number 2 in the country when it comes to exploitation of oil, number 5 when it comes to exploitation of gas. And it's fantastic news that they have now 3 new findings of gas in the field called Tal, and now they are working on the strategy how to exploit that gas and how to contribute to the energy security of Pakistan and the economic growth in Hungary.
Wonderful, that's wonderful. I'd like to also highlight that the industrial and the agricultural sectors are also your main sectors as far as the Hungarian economy is concerned. Also pharmaceuticals, food processing, IT, motor vehicles, machinery, metallurgy, chemicals, mobile technology, IT and electrical goods. In your point of view, do you feel Pakistan could be a market of those fields where it has not yet been tapped?
Yeah, well, absolutely. There are areas where Hungary can offer world-class technologies. And there are areas where Pakistan does need these world-class technologies. We are a much smaller country than you. We are having only 10 million inhabitants. Territory-wise, we are much smaller. Therefore, we have to be very concentrated. And we have some industries on which we have concentrated on a lot. And therefore, we were able to reach world-class level of technologies. Water management, for example. We are a country of rivers located in a basin, so many rivers flow in, many flow out, so we learned how to deal carefully with water, how to preserve water, how to deal with water in an efficient, respectful way. So water technologies can be of assistance of your economic development. Agriculture and food industry the same. When you put it into European context, we do apply for the strictest food security regulations. We don't allow GMO, neither in food industry nor in agriculture, and this is being written in our constitution. So we are very sensitive on food security issues. And then on medical technology and security printing, smart city solutions, all. So that's the reason why companies from these industries have been accompanying me today. And these are the strategic focus areas of cooperation for the future.
All right, before we go a little bit into the economy, I'd also like to delve into the other aspect of your very important responsibility, and that is foreign affairs. You've been the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade since 2014, and that is one of the longest news that I have heard a minister retain it, and I've only heard good things about you from wherever I have read in the international media and the press. Now, coming
because
to
you don't read European press.
Maybe I don't, but whatever press I've read, apart from 1 or 2 criticisms in certain areas, most of the press regarding you and your role as the Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Minister for Trade has been very, very positive, and they all call you somebody who's very robust and proactive in your domain. How important is Hungary's foreign policy perspective in the current geopolitical, geostrategic situation? And I'd like to refer to that with the Ukraine-Russia conflict as well. You have said, and I quote, as Ukraine's neighbor, Hungary has a direct interest in de-escalation. We welcome US-Russia talks as a necessary step. Peace can only be achieved through negotiation. This I just wanted to highlight because this was one of the recent comments that you made, and your role as far as a diplomat has been extremely important when it comes to your country. Could you kindly elaborate?
You know, first thing we have to put on the table is that we are a right-wing government. Right-wing, conservative, patriotic, Christian, going very clearly against the liberal mainstream and going very clearly against the woke ideology. So we are part of this revolution of common sense. No migration, no war, no gender propaganda. Marriage can be made between a man and a woman. Father is a man, mother is a woman, and a human being can either be male or female, period. So, but you know, this kind of approach is very rare in the Western world and is being under very heavy attack. Same to the situation in Ukraine. From the very beginning, we have never delivered weapons to Ukraine, never ever. because as a neighboring country, we are absolutely standing up for peace. And the last 3+ years have proved that there's no solution on the battlefield. On the battlefield, you have dead people, you have destruction, you have suffering, but no solution. Solution comes only around the negotiating table. So you have to negotiate. That's why we have welcomed President Trump's approach, because the fact that President Trump entered into direct negotiations with the Russians made the world a safer place. Why? Because even if there's no peace yet, but the risk of escalation of the war has decreased a lot. We are a Central European country. We have a very clear experience in history, which says that we have lost 40 years, 4 decades of our lives because we were under oppression by the East and neglected by the West. So we don't want, US-Russia being in bad relationship. We don't want the world to be divided into blocks again. We want a global connectivity, a global cooperation to take place based on mutual respect. So, based on our historic experience, whenever Russians and Americans are having good relations, we're fine. Whenever they have bad relations, it's bad to us as well.
All right. Also, there's another thing. You talk about important things that are happening in the world. Another thing is Islamophobia. I did talk to you about this in 2021 as well, but I want to reiterate this because we see this happening more and more. How do you see the rise of Islamophobia? How does Hungary see the rise of Islamophobia? And how has this impacted the relationship between the West and the Muslim world?
Well, I can tell you that we are a country which is proud of its more than 1,000-year-long Christian statehood. So we are a Christian country, a country which sticks to its Christian heritage, which takes it seriously, and which feels responsibility for Christian values and Christian communities all around the world. Now, being Christian means that you respect others. Being Christian means that you respect the religion of the others. Being Christian means that you cannot be anti-something. So peaceful Christians and peaceful Muslims know very well that they need to respect each other and they need to be able to live next to each other when like in the Middle East, for example. In the Middle East, you have Muslim communities and the Christian communities, and they have to live together. So we are totally against the persecution of any community based on religion. So similarly to Christianophobia, we do reject Islamophobia as well, because no one must be discriminated based on his or her religion.
All right.
Because if we accept discrimination of certain religious groups or certain persons based on religion, that will lead us back to a very dark past where we don't want to go.
60 years of diplomatic relations between Pakistan and Hungary. 60 good years between Pakistan and Hungary. And I can say that myself because I've talked to you before and I talked to you again, and 4 years down the line, we still see that relationship solidifying. How do you see the role of Pakistan and Hungary within the international fora, and how can both the countries address shared global challenges and promote mutual interests?
Look, what we respect a lot is that, that Pakistan goes against this bloc policy. Pakistan stands up for peace and global connectivity. Pakistan stands up for mutual respect and multilateralism, similarly to us. So look at our relationship. Our relationship was always characterized by mutual respect. We never had the intention to interfere into domestic issues of each other. We never felt like, telling the Pakistanis how to live in Pakistan, as no Pakistanis wanted to tell us Hungarians how to live in Hungary, because it's well above our payroll, number one. Number two, Pakistanis know it much better what is good for them than we would know, right? And vice versa. So this relationship was always characterized by mutual respect, which made it easy. Because we don't have open issues, we don't have debates, so we can only concentrate on areas where we can look for mutual benefit. And on the international fora, such voices, like the one of Pakistan, standing up for peace, for peaceful settlement of wars and armed conflicts, this is super important for us, for a country which has been living in the neighborhood of a war for more than 3 years now.
I understand that. coming to Pakistan-Hungary relations and the different tangents of relations, I also like to talk about the bilateral political consultations wherein the 6th round was held last year. How important in your point of view is this series of consultations, not only to understand each other's perspective, but also to contribute to each other's points of views?
Pretty much so, because we do believe that under the current very turbulent circumstances of global politics and global economy, discussion does help. Dialogue does help. Keeping the channels of communication does help. If you cut the channels of communication, if you don't talk to each other, that brings forward pretty serious risks, and we should avoid that. So in order to make our dialogue even smoother than so far, we have decided to lift the visa obligation for Pakistani diplomats to Hungary. So we signed the agreement today.
Oh.
Yeah, so this means that Pakistani diplomats can travel to Hungary without any kind of visa obligations, because we do believe, that intensification of the dialogue is important.
Speaking of visas and tourism, tourism is a very important sector in which Pakistan also believes could be an extremely important avenue for it. How can Hungary help Pakistan strengthen its tourism sector?
Well, I think the most important issue here is the direct air connection. So therefore, today we expressed mutual interest in finalizing the talks about the civic aviation agreement of ours. Because once we are able to complete those talks, we will create the legal basis for a direct flight to be launched between the two countries. And the airline, which is managed by Hungarians, called Wizz Air, which has the youngest and biggest fleet in Europe among budget airlines, they are ready to start flights between Hungary and Pakistan. So I hope that we will be in a position to sign the bilateral civic aviation agreement soon, and then based on that as a legal precondition, Wizz Air is going to announce its flight between our two wonderful countries.
Wonderful. And the way you have also handled tourism in your sector, I know tourism is maybe not a direct sector that you handle, but maybe Pakistan could learn from the Hungarian experience of how it has established its tourism sector as well. Adding to that, since 2014, when you've been the Minister for Trade as well as the Minister for Foreign Affairs, you have created an institutional triangle that was headed by yourself, and I think is still headed by yourself, to support the foreign trade-focused foreign policy of your government. This triangle of the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency, the Hungarian Export Promotion Agency, Hungarian Export-Import Bank PLC, operates outstandingly effective in promoting foreign trade as well as Hungarian exports. How can Pakistan benefit from this example?
More than 10 years ago, when my Prime Minister told me that I would have the honor to work as the Foreign Minister of the country, he asked me about my plans in this regard. And I told him that, I think that in our case, as a landlocked, mid-sized country, lacking any kind of major energy sources, exports and investments do play an enormous role. Foreign direct in our economic achievement, foreign direct investments to be attracted to Hungary, and Hungarian companies to be helped to be successful on the external markets. And the diplomatic service must assist that. So I told my Prime Minister that I thought that the major goal of the diplomacy should be to stand up for the national economic interest of the country. So therefore, we have merged investments, trade, and foreign affairs together. And it is very clear that the obligation of the diplomats is to help the Hungarian companies to be successful abroad and to look for companies which would like to invest in Hungary. And since 2014, each and every year, except for one under COVID, but each and every year except for that one, we have broken the all-time record of exports and we have broken the all-time record of investments. So this shows very clearly that if you have a global network, we are having a global diplomatic network, working for that goal, you are extremely successful. And my question was to my ambassadors, because at that time they were not very happy with that. And my question was then, what else is the sense of your work than helping your country to be more successful? So currently I have to tell you it's more than 80% of the staff in the entire foreign ministry which was replaced, and 80% of the staff came after me to the ministry. So because I was not quite sure that the former ones understood what I expected from them.
So now things are moving in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. Figures are proving that.
All right, that is wonderful. Education also has been a growing link between Hungary and Pakistan as well. There are programs like the Stipendium Hungaricum, which offers hundreds of scholarships as far as Pakistani students are concerned. How important is this linkage of education between the two countries? How could both countries work together to enhance on that?
Look, since we are located far away of each other, we need strong people-to-people contacts to be a strong basis and platform for the cooperation. And the best way to build people-to-people contacts goes through education. So we offer 400 scholarships for Pakistani students every year on the Hungarian universities, fully financed by the Hungarian state, 400. This is the most we offer to a single country, Jordan and Pakistan, 400 each, and all other countries we offer less. And this year there were more than 17,000 applications submitted. The year before, more than 18,000 applications submitted, which shows to us that this is a very popular program. So we will continue to receive the students. There are multiple thousands of Pakistani students included into our alumni network. I really consider them as goodwill ambassadors and promoters of Hungary. Once they come back from Hungary, they should represent us on a goodwill basis, based on experience. And they mostly come to study pharmaceutical and medical science and engineering on English language. And we will continue to do this, to carry out this program, because on one hand it helps to internationalize our higher education system. On the other hand, it helps us to have basically a broad network alumni all over the world. So, I'm always shocked when I go to Africa, or not shocked, but happily surprised when I come to Asia or Africa or faraway countries, and when I'm received in the airport and I talk to Hungarian language. I speak on Hungarian language, talking to the officer who receives me, because these students or these former students are all over the world, and this is a huge value to us.
Another thing that is of value to Pakistan under the current circumstances is the security challenges. Both Hungary and Pakistan have faced security challenges, from regional instability to issues such as illegal migration and terrorism. How can both countries work together on security and counter-terrorism initiatives? And what role could this cooperation also play in strengthening the already existing strong relations between the two countries?
Look, although we are located far away from each other, but we are both located in a very seriously challenging neighborhood from security perspective. We are living in the neighborhood of the war. You are living in the neighborhood of Afghanistan. And we all know that illegal migration has put a tremendous security risk on Europe. Brussels, unfortunately, carries out a very bad policy on migration, because in Brussels they do not want to stop migration but manage it. And I think this is the major problem. Migration should not be managed, migration should be stopped. And Pakistan knows that very well. Pakistan stands up against terrorism very heavily, which helps us Europeans as well, because the more Pakistan fights against terror, the less terrorism, the less migration is going to be caused by terrorism, because terrorism is one of the root causes of migration. So once the terror threat is being pushed down, the threat of migration is being pushed down as well. So therefore, we value and respect a lot the efforts of Pakistan in fighting against terror, and we appreciate the very hard stance of Pakistan countering illegal migration. We Hungarians are located at the external border of the European Union. We have built fence, we have 24/7 surveillance, and we have stopped more than 500,000 illegal migrants at our border already.
All right, so this is an important sector, I feel, which both countries could further
absolutely
collaborate as well.
No question.
All right, also cultural linkages, cultural ties. We talked about tourism a little bit, but also cultural festivals, the engagement of the diaspora, people-to-people contact are very important pillars, if I can say that, of any country or the relationship between any two countries. How can they be worked upon between Hungary and Pakistan, in your point of view?
Look, we are two countries which are not only having rich history and not only having a great cultural heritage, but both countries are proud of those. You know, nowadays it's not a trend to be proud of heritage, to be proud of religion, to be proud of history, but we both are. We both are. And we do have to take this seriously in international community as well, saying that national specificities and national identities must be preserved. And how you preserve your national identity? Through respecting your past, respecting your history, and respecting your rich culture. We are sitting in a library, so no reason for further explanation, I guess.
All right. Finally, do you still play futsal?
Well, very rarely, mostly with the kids in the garden, you know.
All right. Well, I hope I can learn that one day as well. Any message for Pakistan?
Well, I'd like to express the best wishes on behalf of the Hungarian people to the wonderful Pakistani nation. We cherish and value the efforts you have been making in order to make this part of the world safer and safer. And believe me, that helps Europe to be safer as well. So you can count on us in the future as well. We will continue to urge European Union to have a broader and wider cooperation with Pakistan, keeping you in the GSP Plus program. And you can absolutely count on Hungary's respect and trust when it comes to the bringing forward of the bilateral cooperation in the future.
Thank you very much, Excellency Péter Szijjártó. That was the Minister for Trade and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Hungary, Excellency Péter Szijjártó, talking to us about Pakistan-Hungary relations that further is strengthening with every passing year, and a very vibrant example of that is the presence of the Minister himself. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Let's come to our second segment, and that concerns the environment, climate change, and how Pakistan has been affected by it. We all have witnessed, at least in Islamabad and in the northern regions of Pakistan, the incessant rain, the hailstorms that impacted not only the daily lives of people, but also the properties, the cars, and the crops. To discuss that and more, the changing weather patterns in Pakistan, we've been joined by two guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one. In the studio, we've been joined by Ejaz Ahmed Saab. He's an environmentalist. Dr. Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. We've also been joined by Zaheer Ahmed Babar Saab. He's a Director, National Weather Forecasting Center, PMD. Thank you very much to Zaheer Saab as well to have joined us. We'll begin with you, Ejaz Saab. Ejaz Saab, what are these specific weather patterns that triggered this heavy rainfall, this hailstorm? Did you see the big bowls of hail that people were making videos and pictures of, and how that impacted also our daily lives? Because it has impacted not only our health, but also property and crops.
Well, I think this this is very sudden change in the weather. There was heat wave which was being announced, and I think we had 3-4 days of very severe hot weather, and then all of a sudden this hailstorm. I suffered actually from hailstorm. My car got damaged.
Oh, a lot of cars got damaged.
Yes, yes. Actually, climate change and global warming is day by day showing the demonstration is on now. That whatever the mitigation measure we take, it will take time. And the temperature, the heat wave, the drought season that we have been, we are talking about last two months or few weeks actually. So we have witnessed that there was no rain from September till February, and then we had just 1 or 2 rains, and then again the heat wave. So the global warming is at its peak, and the
impact is rearing its ugly head, and it's showing its different forms and manifestations. And this hailstorm, this rain was just one of those.
Is one of the demonstration that we can see.
All right.
It was very severe. Actually,
it was very severe.
The size was very large. It was like a golf ball, or
All right, Zaheer Saab, I'd like to understand from your point of view, Why did this happen? At the time it happened, it was very unusual. The rain was incessant, and of course the hailstorms were very unusual for this part of the year and unusual for hailstorms in Pakistan as well, and the way they have damaged the crops and the way they have damaged the infrastructure, and of course the casualties that have also occurred in the form of loss of lives. How could these impact in the coming days as well, because we're also hearing that tomorrow onwards there might be another spell of rain? Would we again see a hailstorm coming in the next couple of days as well?
Actually, March and April, we are shifting from the spring season to the summer season, and this is the transition period when weather systems are changing from one pattern to another pattern. And usually in March and April, particularly in April, we usually in the upper parts of the country we have thunderstorms and strong winds and rainfalls accompanied with hailstorms as well. What actually unusual was about this system was, and this was the interaction between, there was a heat wave and then the westerly wave came in due to the temperature contrast as well. So there was a sudden shift in the patterns of the temperature pattern as well. It was prevailing very severe heat, and then a westerly wave came in with, cold, moist airs, and the interaction between the warm air and the cold, moist air produce those thunderstorms and lightning and hailstorms. So the particular thing about this hailstorm is that the size of the hailstorm. Hailstorm in this season is not very unusual. We usually have hailstorms, heavy rainfalls, strong winds, dust storms. The size of the hailstorm and the size of the hails is particularly related to the climate change. Because in the change of climate change, as we are moving towards a warmer world, and we are seeing that continuously the temperature is rising. So as the temperature is rising, the ability of the atmosphere to hold moisture is increasing. And similarly, as the ocean is also warming up, so the evaporation from the ocean is also increasing. So it's a pattern in which we see that extreme weather events, be in the shape of flash floods, riverine floods, landslides, or even in the shape of lightning and thunderstorms. So the climate projections that's indicating that in the future we are maybe have more, extreme weather events in the coming future, in the coming years as well. As far as for tomorrow and day after tomorrow.
For tomorrow, if there
Yeah.
is a prediction of rains, and will this pattern repeat or replicate itself, what we've just seen?
For tomorrow, from today and tomorrow morning, we have usually a very hot morning, maybe. But during the afternoon, in the evening, we have another weather system which will be approaching from the west, and mostly the rain will be occurring in most parts of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, particularly in the upper mountainous areas of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and then sweeping across Punjab and Potwa region, and then again we can have more rain, thunderstorm, and hailstorm. So during these days, particularly when the transition is taking place from one season to another season, the chances of hailstorms, windstorms, and lightning cannot be ruled out. So in coming days, we cannot rule out the possibility of more lightning, hailstorms, and windstorms as well.
All right, that's an interesting perspective, and I think we need to be careful as far as that is concerned. What impact could these have on our crops? We've seen this time as well, but could these further intensify? Could our crops further be destroyed? What kind of precautions should we take?
Well, I think this is going to be a very serious damaging the crop, in a sense that wheat crop is now ready to harvest, and in most of the areas harvesting has initiated, or in some areas I have seen they have harvested wheat crop, but the crop is still lying in the fields. So ultimately this is like going to have a severe damage. Similarly, if we talk about the fruit crops throughout the country, mostly they were in the flowering stage about 10-15 days ago, and then now like with this hailstorm there will be a lot of damage which we expect that is going to happen on the orchard. Even this mango crop is going to suffer. This is going to, I mean, like as far as wheat is concerned, I think it is going to have an issue related to food security, because we have seen that right from the germination of wheat crop during this season, we hardly had any rain. So the rain was not there, especially in Pothwar region, the Barani area, mostly rain dependent area. So due to that, the crop was the grain size was also not big enough. So ultimately this is going to have an impact on the food security.
All right, food security and its impact is very important for a country like Pakistan, which of course has a lot of emphasis on the agriculture and agricultural produce. Zaheer Saab, these recent events, whether it be hailstorms, rains, and the changing weather patterns that we've seen, how has it highlighted the vulnerability of Pakistan's rural communities, especially also urban communities, but also rural communities, by these extreme weather and inadequate infrastructures?
Actually, the climate change, for a climate change and to cope with climate change, we have to see and to seek two-pronged approach. Maybe one is adaptation, and then one is mitigation. Mitigation is a long-term process, and in which we have to decrease the carbon emissions, and of course, it is going to take a lot of effort from Pakistan and the other part of the countries and other countries as well. The other thing is adaptation. So for adaptation, we have to find the adaptation strategies for climate change, be it the urban areas or these are the rural areas. For example, in the agriculture areas, we have to see how the temperatures have shifted, and see what type of crops are can be sown in particular areas, and if the rainfall pattern has changed, so what can be done to see how we can irrigate those lands as well. As far as the urban areas are concerned, so we have to see that the infrastructure is such that it doesn't trap heat. For example, we have an urban heat island phenomena in which we have a lot of infrastructures and all those things, so which causes the warming of all those areas. So we have to maybe move towards a greener urban areas as well. We have to have green spaces as well, so that those heat traps cannot occur in those areas. So in all, to cope with the climate change, be it the urban areas or the agriculture, we have to take an holistic approach. And similarly, we have to adapt towards the energy aspect as well. So we have to move towards some greener energies, and also towards reducing the carbon emissions, and shifting from carbon-based emissions from towards the EV vehicles.
All right. Dr. Ejaz, how do these recent rains and hailstorm disasters also underscore the need for a new approach as far as Pakistan's urban planning is concerned and climate resilient infrastructure is also concerned to mitigate future losses?
Well, I think there is a need to realize the urban planning process. As mentioned about the fuel that we are consuming, the transport sector, according to some of the studies which was done in Lahore and in Punjab generally, during the smog time, 80% plus emissions are coming from the transport sector. And transport sector is such a sector which operates 24/7 throughout the year and on a regular basis. And if we don't work on improving the transport sector, ultimately we are going to suffer and feel the same issues again and again. So urban planning, which requires a lot of green spaces, is very important. Unless we focus on green spaces, we are going to have some other issues, be heat island issues. And we have seen that like in Karachi 2-3 years ago, in 2015, and then I think in 2022 there was this heat wave where thousands, I think it was like 2,200 people, they died in 1 or 2 days time. So mostly if we see in Islamabad also, the whole blue area is I mean like every building is an urban heat island, because there are like 10 stories building, and every story has maybe 15 to 20 air condition which operates day and almost 10 to 15 hours, and they emit heat. They keep the internal environment much better, but outside it becomes an issue, and these heat islands ultimately are going to contribute into the overall environment. So I think urban planning is very important, since the shift in population dynamics has also been observed. Now we are close to 45% urban population, which was like 33% about 50 years ago. And what we have not done any planning for that. We are expanding roads, we are enhancing the concrete jungles, as compared to at the cost of urban parks, at the cost of green parks, at the cost of green areas. So there is a need to look for this kind of options. And similarly, when we talk about urban issues, transport sector is one of the major sector, and also energy and few other aspects. So that is one thing which we need to look for in future planning.
Early warning system is also something I feel is very important, and
Yes.
Pakistan has been working on it, and a lot of environmentalists like yours have also been proposing different measures as far as that is concerned. But what needs to be done in order to implement and improve the early warning systems and preparedness following events such as these hailstorms and deadly rains that could impact the lives of people?
Well, I personally feel the early warning systems in Pakistan are very very good. In a sense, I mean, like, of course, in such events which happened yesterday in Islamabad, even in the developed country would not actually will not be able to cope with it.
We see even Australia, we see
fires.
the US that are impacted and they can't do anything.
Yes. So, but then I think that as far as the early warning systems are concerned, we have seen the incidences of gloves in northern part of Pakistan. But the evacuation, the warning system are such that the casualties are very minimal. The damages are also quite low. So and similarly now the networking has improved. The PDMA and DMAs, even city level DMAs, they have actually developed networks, the information dissemination mechanism, where people they get the information very quickly. So I think we need to look for enhancing the capacity and look for other non-traditional institutions to use it, like masajid or maybe like schools, where people can community can convey to each other about any disaster or anything, any evacuation plan or something like which is related to disaster.
I think that's important, and we need to always update our measures, our methodologies as far as early warning systems are concerned. The better we are, the more updated we are,
Exactly.
the earlier we can predict what
And lesser
what is
damages.
happening. Yes, of course, with lesser damage as well. Speaking of damage, our Punjab government launches the country's first ever environmental protection squad. I found this story extremely interesting from not only a budding environmentalist point of view, but also from a layman's point of view, because there is going to be an e-bike squad, a green squad which will launch an anti-plastic campaign, a blue squad to protect water bodies, black squad to work against vehicle fuel testing, red squad to prevent harmful substances in industrial areas and hospitals, Hawkeye squad, and special urban patrolling and vigilance squad, anti-plastic and dust squad, point source pollution monitoring squad. I found that very interesting as a measure to be taken by the Punjab government. How do you see it, and do you feel our other provincial governments also need to emulate it?
Yeah, I think this is very serious, in a sense that it shows the commitment for the environment and for the livelihood of the citizens of Punjab or Pakistan. And I only thing that actually worries is that it should not be a parallel system. That we have
should be incorporated.
Exactly.
Basically.
We have Environmental Protection Department who has a lot of responsibility under the Act. Environmental Protection Act, and they have responsibility of doing these things. If they are not doing it properly, I think we need to look for capacity, we need to look for the resources, the human resources and training aspect. But there has to be some certain mechanism which should not be, you know, like they should not be working in parallel with each other. That
they should be working in close coordination.
Exactly. Instead of, you know, like come up with conflicts. Yeah.
Point taken. Dr. Ejaz Saab, thank you very much to have joined us. Also Zaheer Ahmed Babar Saab, Director, National Weather Forecasting Center at the PMD. Thank you very much to have joined us as well. Before we end our show, here's a bit of interesting story, let's put it that way. Astronomers say that they have now detected the most promising hints of potential life on a planet that is beyond our solar systems. Although, as in the past, there's still a lot of skepticism from a lot of scientists saying that there is no 100 or tangible proof as far as the life actually exists or not. But the astronomers have detected strong chemical hints of possible life on this exoplanet K218b, 124 light years away. Yes, it's not that near if you thought so. This has happened thanks to the James Webb Telescope. Now, because of the presence of certain gases that they feel are present in the atmosphere, like dimethyl sulfide, dimethyl disulfide, they feel that there could be some possibility of life there. This area or this planet is more than 8 times the mass of Earth and 2.5 times as big. It is rare among the roughly 8,000 exoplanets discovered so far. So let's see whether there actually is life or not. We have been waiting since so long for that. Let's see whether there are some positive signs that come in the coming days and weeks. With that, we come to the end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow. News story segments are put into us here in Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.